So now when I talk about Scrum, let me just put it up everything here. So first of all, what is a Scrum? Okay. So generally, when I talk about the Scrum in this case, right? So Scrum is actually a framework. Okay. Scrum, whatever is present here, it is a framework. As I said you, right? Scrum is basically a framework which actually helps us out in order to go ahead and try to achieve the outcomes of agile and agile values and principles. Okay, that is one of the important thing which we need to know. So now, what is the Scrum is going to do? Inside this Scrum, okay, there is something called as actually an empirical process control. What does Scrum suggest is empirical process control. Empirical means it is dynamic, it is not constant. Now, what are those empirical process control? Here is your transparency, adaptation, and then inspection. Okay. So now if you see here, transparency means whatever work we are trying to do, we should be transparent enough so that not only our team members, anybody who wants to have a look into our details of our team, then everyone can be able to see the details, and it should be very much transparent. Like whatever we are trying to work as of now, all of those things should be transparent. And we should also be inspecting our work on regular checks. Like we have to inspect, we have to see that whether we are following the process appropriately or not. Are we trying to deviate from the process which we are actually using it? Okay, or otherwise, let me say, if you are not in a position to go ahead and try to inspect the things appropriately, then we will never be able to get to know that whether we are doing everything appropriately or not. So inspection is also very important thing which we need to inspect ourselves as a team, and we should know that where we are and what we actually need to do so that we can ensure that the process is always getting uplifted. That is a Scrum process. Or maybe anything in terms of technicalities or anything in terms of improvements which we need to do, we first always need to inspect it. And then adaptation. Adaptation means whatever you're inspecting it, right? If you don't execute it, then what is the point of inspecting it? So you should adapt. Okay, you should automatically see like where you're trying to deviate. You should understand it and come back and then try to adapt to the market requirements. Or let me say, like this is like more of like a continuous improvement. You always need to continuously improve as per your market requirement, and you need to make sure that your process is also improving so that all your team members are getting benefit out of it. These are three key things which all of us need to understand. When I'm using Scrum, Scrum framework says me that, hey, if you're using the Scrum framework, let's go ahead and try to use an empirical process control, which comprises of three important things. One is the transparency. Let's make everything transparent. Let's not hide anything. Let's make it very clear. If there is a blocker or if there is an impediment, let us discuss and make it transparent. Let's not hide it. And then inspection. Let's inspect. Let's try to see where we are trying to deviate, or is everything going fine. And if we are seeing that some things which we are not doing in the right direction, in the inspection, we will get to know about it, and we try to adapt the best practices. We'll try to adapt the best ways so that we can continuously improve. And at the same time, we can also be able to like learn, and at the same time, we can also evolve as a team. That is how these three important things are being laid inside this Scrum. And along with this, in a Scrum team, okay, when you say a Scrum team, right, your Scrum team will be self-organizing and cross-functional. Very simply, I'll say, I'll not take much time over here. Self-organizing here means everyone knows what they have to do. You don't need to go and say them that, hey, you have to do this, or hey, you have to do that. You don't need to say that. Self-organizing means they know what they have to do. They are accountable for whatever work they are trying to commit. So we don't need to go and say specifically to someone that you have to do certain things. That is one of the advantage which the Scrum framework is actually providing us. And cross-functional. Cross-functional here means, let me say, I know Scrum, Agile and all. I'm sharing it with all the people who are being present here. This is cross-functional. Now tomorrow you may know something new. You will be sharing the same to me. In the same way, in a team, when someone learns some new technical concepts and all of us can sit and we can deep dive and understand like what are those new things which we have come up with, and then we can go ahead and try to share the knowledge, and then in that way team will be very much cross-functional. Okay. And then finally, we will be able to deliver a potentially shippable product. As I said you, right? It is a key term, like potentially shippable product, as I said you, like we will break it into multiple chunks, and every chunk is what we call it as a shippable product, technically. Okay. And one more thing is you have to do either within 30 days or less. That means I would say precisely a month. So you can commit the work in such a way that within a month, you should be able to showcase your work. Let me say, you may ask me this question, why only month? I can take more time. I want to take even more time. Then in that case, I would say it will be very difficult. If you take more than a month, right, it will be again difficult to go ahead and try to settle it out. Because again, you're falling into the waterfall approach. If you're going towards waterfall approach, then you can't settle the things again. Okay. So that is the reason why either do in a month or less than a month. That is absolutely fine. Okay. But you have to come up with outcomes within month or 30 days, if I would say. That is how the cycle works in Scrum. Either you take 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. 4 weeks means it's 30 days, I mean to say, or a month. So you either come in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or 4 weeks. You can come within a week also, but within a week, it's very difficult to complete certain outcomes. Otherwise, 1 week or a 2 or a 3 or a 4. If you ask me which one, I can't say because it all depends upon your project complexity. You can choose any timeline, but you should not exceed more than a month. If you're exceeding more than a month, then you're falling in a trap of waterfall, which will take again a lot of time. So within every month, you have to commit such small features. You have to complete it and you have to showcase it to your customers or clients so that they will be able to give you the feedback. And this is a cyclic process. The entire process will keep on like a cycle. Like in this, you have completed the first one, that is a login page. And in the second cycle, what you're going to do, you're going to introduce another feature. So it is like a cycle which will keep on moving. Okay. That is the reason why we call it as an iterative and incremental approach. Like this process will keep on repeating. Okay. And incremental means what? Today I completed my login page. Tomorrow I will be completing what? My, let me say my cart page. Now that is an incremental. Two items are completed. Now third one will be my billing page. Now that is a third incremental. Like that, you have to go ahead and try to complete it in a cyclic process. That's what we call it as iterative and incremental approach. Okay, so this is basically a Scrum. Okay, Scrum is like a development framework which we generally use, like where we have our empirical process control. And this empirical process control involves your transparency, inspection, and adaptation. And in this empirical process control, like where is a Scrum framework is there, right? We will be having our self-organizing and cross-functional teams. Now, these teams are accountable to deliver the potentially shippable product within 30 days or less than it. Okay, that is basically what we actually call it as our Scrum.
So guys, this was our expert from Team K21Academy, and if you want to have a deeper dive, then we have something really special for you. We have our free class on what is Scrum Master, roles and responsibilities. Under this free class, we cover what is Agile in Scrum, what is a Scrum Master roles and responsibilities, and a lot of things that will make you have a better career in this domain. All you have to do is just log on to k21academy.com/scrum02, click on register now, select an event date according to your availability, add your name, your email address, your phone number, and click on yes, save my seat. Moving ahead, you'll be seeing this kind of interface. Just save that link on the extreme right, add it to your calendars, and I'll see you in the free class. Till then, take care and keep learning.